Hi everyone, it's Brave here again. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for being here. I hope everyone around the world is having a great day or night or evening. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're safe and well. So I'm just going to talk today about why, people seem to be like a moth to the flame. Sometimes people run towards, toxic situations and run from good people and good situations. So I'm going to talk a bit about my experiences in life, and hopefully people can relate to anything I've said, or it will make you think or make you smile, or you'll get something good out of it at least. Okay, so one thing that I always remember is that you can't always get what you want, but God will send you what you need, and it would be for your highest good. So you might, be attracted to someone or something, and you really want that thing or that job, or you know that status, or you want people to envy you, or you want to be famous, or whatever it is in your life that you think you need it, you want it, you're confusing wanting things with needing things. Like, we need food to live, we got to eat food to live. We need to use money to pay for things in order to get by and be safe, and like to pay rent and buy food or whatever. But we don't need to be famous, we don't need to be a famous rapper or singer, or we don't need to be rich. We just need enough money to be comfortable and to take care of the people we care about and ourselves. But people tend to live out of their means, meaning like someone might have a job that has enough money to pay their mortgage or their rent, buy enough food for their kids and themselves, clothes, car, pay the petrol, whatever, and yet they will go out of their way to envy others who have more than them, who might have had a lucky break and won the lottery, or married someone who's rich, or and it's like, why are you comparing yourself to others? Never compare yourself to others or envy others, because all of us have the same potential. So yes, some people might get lucky and fall into money ass backwards, and then some might not. Some might only have what they might consider a boring, mediocre life, but they're still safe. Like when I was younger, I used to want to always be where the action was, meaning what I considered fun, going out drinking, having fun, going to nightclubs and parties. But that's because the people around me told me this is what fun is, this is how we socialize, this is where the action is. But when I started to go around these work colleagues who did this every weekend, wasting their money on alcohol, sleeping around with people they don't know, unprotected, having abortions because they're getting, they're having unwanted pregnancies. I thought, why on earth is this fun? How is this fun? What is wrong with you guys that this is the norm and this is normal? Like, but for some weird reason, that has become a really common, thing all around the world, that you must go out and drink yourself blind, be blind drunk, falling about the floor, and then you must go and sleep with a stranger, And I mean, does anyone care about STDs anymore? Does anyone care about the unwanted pregnancies, or the babies that are put up for adoption or abused because they're brought into families that didn't want them, and then they're palmed off on other relatives who don't care, And so yeah, that's really sad that the world is so toxic, and things that we shouldn't be caring about seem to be people's priority, and people do not want to multitask and do a multitude of positive things, like looking after their family, or even if they, are with someone that, but their relationship isn't good, but making sure they're there for the kids emotionally, even if they don't get on with the mum. You get a lot of people who, for example, if a man and a woman just, had sex, well, one night stand, and the woman tricked him by getting pregnant on purpose, or if it was just she was careless, or they're both careless, It's like, why should the child suffer and not get any emotional love or support? But because the guy hates the mum, he treats the child the way he feels about the mum, and I can relate to that. And no, not having a baby, I mean like being the child who is neglected because two narcissistic people had sex and then didn't give a crap about each other, and then a child is born, and then I'm used as a pawn by the mother to try and keep the dad around, and the dad doesn't care, and then the mum doesn't care about you because she only wanted to use you to trap the dad. It's very sad. But I mean, I know I'm worthy. I know I'm a good person. I don't feel, that I'm worthless because of how I came into the world. But, it is upsetting when you don't have a great family, when you don't have good people around you. I mean, luckily I was strong and intelligent enough, even as a young person, a young child from age 10 onwards, I could see, even though I was only 10, I could see the mistakes these adults were making emotionally in, social groups, and not, I could tell their behavior wasn't right. And I was extremely emotionally mature. I always have been super mature. People always said, wow, I can't believe how, you're so mature. You're like an old soul, like you've been here before, like a past life. And I thought, well, I probably have. Well, I know I have, had past lives here before. But what I mean is, like, maybe that was why I seemed so mature as a child, because I've already been here before. It's not my first rodeo, as they say. But yeah, it's weird how people will kind of not consider each other's emotions, as if, well, because I'm not beating you up, all I did was say some nasty words to you, why can't you get over it? People do tend to make out like verbal abuse and, nasty hate speech or malicious communication isn't a big deal. It leaves psychological scars. It does bother people when you say nasty things to them, even if they can move past it. For a moment, like, it would bother them, even if eventually they're like, oh, I don't care. I mean, I genuinely don't care what people I don't care about think. But if I care about you, when you say nasty things to me, it will make me angry because I didn't expect someone I cared about to talk to me that way, to not care about my feelings, you know, because I want you to be happy, for you to feel free, have the freedom and independence to live how you wish. I don't mean you any harm. I want the best for you. And if all I'm doing is checking on you now and then and saying, hey, what's up? How are you? I don't expect to be abused for that. I don't expect to be told that I need to go and find something and do, so I'm not focusing on them. What bullcrap? How dare you? Who do you think you are talking to me like that? I have plenty of things going on in my life, but because I'm a kind, decent soul, I multitask and I can do my work and I can see my friends and I can see my family, and anyone who I know around the world could send me a message and I'll take 2 minutes to reply. It takes nothing to be kind. If you're a decent, kind person, it is effortless to be kind to others. But if you're a messed up, effed up narcissist with no sort of empathy, no sort of compassion, no sort of respect for others' feelings, no boundary, like you cross boundaries, you got no respect to boundaries, then that is why you're reacting that way. It's nothing to do with anything I did. I never overcalled anyone. If it's the thing that makes me laugh, like, some people will actually tell you to call them, like negative narcissistic people, they will tell you to call them, and you'll call them and they won't answer. And I was like, the F is this? Like, what is this game? This is a stupid game and I'm not playing. So then you ignore them, right? Well, not even ignore them, just get on with your life. Just focus on yourself, you know. And then next thing you know, why aren't you calling? Why aren't you blowing up my phone? Bitch, because I don't understand why you're playing games. You're not a child. You're way up, nearly 30, and you're acting like a little 15-year-old or 18-year-old. Grow up. the audacity of this bitch to tell me to go find something and do and concentrate on so that I'm not bothering them. Fucking, I cannot believe the amount of times some dickhead has not appreciated a good, kind soul like me. Like, there are so many narcs in this world, so many assholes, obnoxious dickheads who don't have any bloody friends or family who like them because they push them all away. And then you come along, innocent, have no idea this person is a dickhead, and you just think, like, they pretend to be good and fun, and then you think, oh, okay, this person seems cool, let me, hang out with them or whatever. And then they start trying to pretend that, oh, like, the nasty things they start saying out of the blue, they say, oh, it's just a joke, it's just a joke. No, it's not. They want to say that. They want to shock you, say something shocking or controversial. That's part of their manipulation. It's like testing you to see, okay, who's going to run away from this and who's going to be up to the challenge, Because to me, like, when I came across some guy from Tennessee and he was so rude and obnoxious when he spoke in this live stream, and I was like, wow, no one's going to like want to talk to him because he's so rude and obnoxious. But then he would always say, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an alcoholic. And I was like, oh, he's drunk. It's okay, he's drunk. So everyone's like, oh, let him off, he's drunk. We all say crazy things when we're drunk. So he would always use that as a crutch to, like, or not a crutch, sorry, an excuse to be like, well, I said terrible things about you, but hey, I'm a crazy drunk guy, huh? And it's like, okay. And then people would just take the piss out of him and be nasty. And then I started to say, well, you don't have to be rude to him. Like, if he is an alcoholic, that's a real sad life. That's a painful, his health is going to be fucked up. His liver, he probably has cirrhosis of the liver. And I'm genuinely concerned. Everyone else was laughing at him, talking about him behind his back, talking about him right in the stream, right in front of him, and no one cared about him, And so I took pity on him and I don't mean pity in a nasty way. I mean my heart, my empathy, which any good person has, started to feel sad and think, well, what if I was in his shoes? Would I want people to take the mick out of me, or would I want them to help me and reach out and say something nice to me, encourage me? And if they couldn't save me from my alcohol or save me from myself, at least don't say anything nasty to me, just encourage me. So to me, it was like, I didn't put anyone on a pedestal, because why am I going to put a stranger I don't know on a pedestal? I don't believe anyone's beneath me or above me. We all have equal potential. You're just in a different situation. Other people were like, ooh, that person's down and out, they got no future, whatever. And I was like, no, leave him alone. You've got to encourage people. How is someone going to get out of their pain and grief if you're just putting them down all the time? And sadly, like, when I did try to reach out and help this person, they didn't take it the way I thought they would. I thought they would appreciate it. I thought they would, you know, understand that I'm trying to be a confidant, a friend, a mentor, whatever. It's like, because to me, we need to fight to change the negative things in our life, in my opinion. Don't let anything or anyone make you feel unworthy. You are worthy, but you have to see it. It's not enough for me to tell you, sing to you like, you are worthy, you are worthy. Like, I can't be screaming in your ear every single day, you are worthy, you are worthy, you are worthy, and you're swearing at me, I don't need anyone, I don't need you, I don't need, why are you, like, this person was really abusive to me, and all I wanted to do was be kind to them, and I was kind to them. And I'm a really, like, very, very principled person. I don't let people disrespect me or say stupid, obnoxious, rude things to me, or anything that could be a racist slur, or I don't let people joke with me that way. But this person would say all types of offensive things, and I would blow up in a rage, like, how dare you, and cuss them out. And then they say, only joking. And then you'd be like, what? And then you'd warn them, and then they'd pretend like, oh, they're backing down, but really they're plotting, they're keeping a scorecard of, oh, she told me off, strike one against her. Oh, the next time I was nasty to her, she told me off again, strike two against her. They're literally like keeping a scorecard of how many times you told them, stop being rude to me, stop crossing my boundaries. I put the boundary up that you do not disrespect me or talk to me in this way. Just be normal, okay? The only requirement I need from you is to be normal. Just be normal. Can you fake normal? I mean, this person couldn't even fake being normal. And that's how I knew they're a narcissist, because only narcissists would push past your boundaries a million times and not care. And I know this because I grew up with narcissists, boundaryless, cruel, sadistic narcissists, and then I ended up with two narcissistic exes. Um, and I know exactly what a narc is. And I really didn't want to believe he was a narc. And even when I knew he was a narc, I was like, no, not again. Why are these narcs always around? Why do I always end up talking to a narc? I hate that. But then I really did care about the human being that is trapped with this narcissistic personality disorder. You know, I really did feel like, you know, let me try and just be there, even if I can just be there as someone to say, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? But then this person, the audacity of this bitch to say to me when I'm trying to be kind, like just ring them and say, how are you? How's work? How's life? They had the audacity to say to me, I don't get anything out of your phone calls. Why are you asking me how I am? Why are you asking me about my job? It's a job. And I'm like, well, you wouldn't have even got the job if I didn't even encourage you to go and get the job. Do you remember that? Tennessee, do you remember how you were drinking all day, and sleeping when you weren't drinking or throwing up, you were sleeping, and then you admitted that, and then and then we argued because you were so nasty to me for no reason and humiliated me on the stream and made up a load of lies about me, and then I didn't care if you turned those losers against me because I didn't like any of them anyway, but it was weird because that guy, and the reason I'm talking as if I'm talking to him is because I know he's watching these videos, and I know you're watching, Tennessee, and I don't really understand why you're such a coward and you're too scared to type in my comments or come in the live and speak up for yourself. You know you're wrong. You know you're out of line. Yeah, I was mean to sort of cuss you out and say horrible things to you, but you had it coming, didn't you? Tennessee, you had it coming. You should never have disrespected a kind earth angel like me who's never done anything wrong to you, never gone out of her way to abuse anyone. And so I kept warning you, didn't I? I kept warning you that your disrespectful behavior is not going to be tolerated. And sadly, I kept letting you get away with it because I felt sorry for your situation, sorry for the terrible things that happened to your parents and your family, the grief you told me about. I felt compassion and empathy, and that's a good thing. You always were like rejecting the fact that I was sorry about the grief you suffered and the terrible thing that you told me had happened to your parents, and yet you didn't even appreciate, not for 1 second. And the thing is, if you did appreciate it, why didn't you show it? Just say thanks. You know, oh thanks. I see you're showing me sympathy or kindness. Thanks. Like, it's weird to me that you will go and tell others, gossip about me and lie about me to your fake friends or your fake stream people or whoever you gossiping about, because I have psychic gifts. So I don't care if you believe me or not, but it's real whether you believe it or not. But I get dreams and visions of what people are doing. I'll get a dream and a vision that someone has spoken about me, lied about me. I'll get the vision showing the person it like a movie playing in my head. I've had this before. And it was really freaky because I remember this woman, she was so jealous of me when this guy liked me, my ex is very good looking. He has long black hair that he used to grow really long, and he's got like tan skin and brown eyes, really pretty eyes. And every woman wanted him. And then when I came along, he only had eyes for me. He only wanted me at that time. Come to find out later, he was a bit of a ladies' man. But at that time, he made it clear that I was the main person, I suppose. I thought I was the only one. But apparently I was the main bish, the best one, the kindest, the best in bed, the best whatever. And he was pretty, he was like, has been my best in bed. I haven't met anyone who was better than him yet. But yeah, so I always felt like we were like a power couple and everyone was jealous of us. I didn't want them to be jealous of us, they just were. Now this woman, she tried to come on to him and he didn't want her because she was maybe too old or not pretty enough or something. But then she tried to tell me that, oh, he came on to me, oh, you're not the only woman. And I thought, well, okay, but why are you telling me this? Like, what do you gain from telling me this? You want him to leave me and be with you? Like, what is it? Like, because I don't even, like, it's not that I don't appreciate you telling me if it's true, but it's like, what's your motive for telling me? You know what I mean? And then I had a dream that night because she couldn't really explain to me why she's telling me. She's sort of like, oh, I just thought you should know. And I was like, yeah, but why did you think I should know? Are you doing it to help me, or are you doing it to hurt me? What is your motive? And then when I think it was like, yeah, I had a dream like 3 nights later, and then I saw her in the dream talking with other women about me, like in a little group of bishes, and they're all jealous. And they're like, oh, she thinks she's so great. She thinks she's so pretty. You know, I bet I could take him from her. And then when they couldn't take him from me because I was just too kind and too lovely, and I did everything, all his favorite things, and I nurtured him and loved him, and no one had ever done that for him before, and I was just a perfect, kind, like an angel to him, and he loved that. But all these other women, all they could offer was sex. They didn't have a great personality. They, even if they're attractive by superficial standards, they had no soul, no heart, no, content in their character. They were boring. They couldn't even hold a conversation. They were so unintelligent and boring. They had no depth. And for him it was like, yes, he had a problem where he couldn't stick with one person, but at the same time it was just these people he was choosing were meaningless. It's sadly he was using them. And then to me, I had, enough boundaries when I found out he was not being faithful to just say, do you want to be in an open marriage? Like, if we got married, do you want the marriage to be open? And he's like, oh. And he's seeming like excited. And I said, because if you do, that means I can go with anyone else I want, not just you. Understand? And he's like, oh, no, I don't want that. You're mine. You belong to me. And I was like, I don't belong to you. I stand alone, or we're a team. If we're not a team and we're not together, in it together against the world, I don't want you. I don't want someone who is against me. I don't want someone who thinks, ha ha ha, I'm pulling the wool over her eyes, or I'm tricking her, or she doesn't know what I'm up to. And I'm like, of course I know what you're up to. I've got psychic gifts. I get shown what you're up to before you even know what you're doing. I've been shown what you're about to do. Every lie you told, every time I made you think you were in control, I already knew what was going on. I just didn't show my hand. I didn't show you that I knew what was going on. I just adjusted to your absence and pulled away. And that's the thing that people don't understand, is that when I let you seemingly get away with something, I didn't let you get away with anything. I knew the lies you were telling. I knew when you said you loved me, it was a lie, but I let you say it because I just let you say it. But I knew when I say it, I say I love you more, or I love you back. I mean, as a human being, I love you back as a human being. I care what happens to you. But I am in no way, shape, or form under your spell. I've never been your property, your slave, your nothing. I've always been an independent lone wolf alpha, and I was just being there for you because I have so much overwhelming empathy and compassion for other human beings going through suffering. Once you push me too far with your rudeness and your cruelty and your disrespect or your stupid silent treatment, because it works on others. I'm sure these dumb, low vibrational, hillbilly, hick bitches who don't have any brain and too much makeup and short skirts, I'm sure those dumbos full of STDs, they fall for it every time. When you ignore them, it sends them into a spiral and they come running after you. The trouble with that, though, Tennessee, is that when you provoke a psycho, they will run after you with a knife or beat you up or get their brothers and to come and bash you up. And don't you lot have guns in America? I think you should be more careful who you provoke. You should be really, really careful, because over here in England, we got a lot of stalkers and crazy people, but at least we don't have guns. So you grew up around a load of hillbillies with guns and you're provoking these psychopathic women with your silly behavior, your abusive behavior. You don't have to put your hands on someone to be abusive. Psychological abuse is as just as bad as domestic abuse. Like violence, leaves physical scars and trauma and psychological scars, but psychologically and emotionally tormenting people, trying to manipulate them with silence, trying to, like in England, we call it, is it treat them mean to keep them keen? And a lot of men try that crap here. And it does not end well for some of them. The women just ignore them and say, well, he's not interested, goodbye. I'm not going to chase you, goodbye. But some women, if they got a tick, tick, boom, something wrong with their mind, they're either narcissistic, bipolar, got other mental issues, borderline, whatever it is, they will take revenge on someone who ghosts them or tells them, insults, like there's this thing where I forgot what they call it. Is it a neg, or I can't remember, but it's like basically if a man goes up to a woman and he tells her something like a compliment wrapped in a sort of insult. No, is it the other way around? Hold on. An insult wrapped in a compliment, I think. So let me think. An example would be like if someone said, wow, that dress on you, I think it looks better on a skinnier woman, but I mean, each their own. You know what I mean? Like trying to make the woman feel insecure and want to run after the man for his approval. Now that would never work on me. I'm way too intelligent for that crap. Not even the younger me would have found that like triggering. The only reason silence and people ignoring me triggers me is because my dad abandoned us, and the way he hurt us was to ignore us and make us feel like he will talk to the whole world except us. He will socialize with everyone except us. He will look after stepchildren and not his own biological children. He will give them all the love and care and attention and not us, So that is the only reason why it annoys me. It doesn't weaken me or make me go, oh no, I got to be obsessed with this person. On the contrary, it makes me angry and says, oh, okay, you like playing games, you like abusing people. Well, I'll just adjust to your absence. All you did by removing yourself is show me how much easier it is when I don't have to deal with your stupid games. You hear what I'm saying, Tennessee? When you took yourself away and went down the road to the skanks down the road with their STDs and their smelly breath and the bad hygiene, when you did all that, it did not faze me, because I wasn't your girl. I wasn't with you. I'm not even in your country. I'm just trying to be a friend. But you thought that you were trying to create a triangle, or I don't know, what do you call it, like a massive, I don't know, what's a pattern with loads of points? Like a dodecahedron of people. You wanted to create a massive group of women fighting over you. And I was like, who's fighting over you? Why would I want to fight over someone who won't even fight for themselves? If you can't take the risk to rebuild your life, improve your life, get off the alcohol, stop being an alcoholic, if you won't take the risk to go on the pain meds instead of the alcohol and improve your life. Why would I fight for someone who, to me, you're a coward? And I know you might think, how dare she speak to me like that? No, how dare you speak to me like that, Tennessee? And people who are listening to this will be like, who's she talking about? The person who's listening knows who I'm talking about. Tennessee is where they're from. I won't say their real name on here, but if you're listening, Tennessee, you know who you are, Mac. So, but yeah, when I say, you're a coward, it is cowardly to just take the easy way out and poison yourself with alcohol. It's easy to do wrong to yourself and others. It's easy to take the wrong road than the rocky good road, the smooth negative road. It's like, why are you listening to the devil on your shoulder, but you keep saying you praying to God for help? And when God sends you the help, like me, sends a good person into your life to encourage you, you spit in our face. You throw God's help back in his face, and then when I decide I'm turning my back on this crap because I don't need this crap, then you blame me and make me feel, because I have psychic gifts, I can feel what you're feeling. I know exactly what you're feeling and thinking. It's shown to me through my dreams. I can feel when you're thinking negatively about me, when you're blaming me. But at the same time, part of you knows you have done things that were wrong. You were trying to put me in a weird situation where you wanted to trigger me and manipulate me and make me feel bad so that I would react like the other people. But I'm not a hillbilly skank from down the road. You understand? I'm an intelligent, educated earth angel. So we are not the same. Those people, your exes and the people you are going to find in Alabama, Tennessee, all those places, we are not the same. They're not on my level. I'm not even trying to be vain. They are just not on my level. They're low vibrational and I am not. My vibration's too high. You just don't understand because you're so low down in the dirt with the devils. And then you say you're crying out to God for help. But then when God sends you the help, you're too drunk to even notice it. Or you're too wrapped up in your, games, your head games, your mind games. And that's why I know you have narcissistic personality disorder as well, because even if you wanted to change, you can't change because of the damn personality disorder. And that is such a shame, because if you were just a normal, regular person, you would have sorted yourself out by now, no matter what you went through. You know what I mean? Like, you would have taken the initiative. You would have taken my help. You would have taken my guidance. The fact that what I offered you to say, in the future, like, I could lend you the money, you could fly to England, you could come stay with us in England and have a little vacation, open, opportunities for you. The fact that you would turn that down and spit that back in our faces, that was weird. That just shows that you're a narc, because only a narc would be like, I don't need you, I don't need anyone. Like, and sorry, I'm not taking the mick out of your accent. It's just, I just remembered, like, that's what you sounded like to me. Just like some lone cowboy, like, I don't need anyone. Sorry, I'm not taking the mick out of anyone's accent. It's just, to me, it's just like, how are these cowboy sounding people telling me I'm not good enough? Get on your horse and sort your life out. But I'm not laughing, sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, but I just don't understand, why are people who go out into the world doing harm to people, not saying you haven't been harmed, but you're provoking psychopaths. Come on now, you're choosing a psychopath to be your girlfriend, then you're provoking the psychopath. Be more clever. Like, don't provoke psychopaths. But the fact is, the narcissism will make you do that. It won't stop you and keep you safe from terrible actions, sadly, which is, unfortunate. But I digress. So anyway, when you're around a lot of negativity, pain, abuse, grief, you know, you can sometimes get stuck in survival mode, I mean, it does make some people take unnecessary risks because they just self trash and they don't recognize the importance of self protection, self preservation, self control, self respect, self esteem. They just don't recognize that these are things they need to improve and nurture and set up boundaries to keep these things, you know, regularly strong. I mean, like self control, you have to have self control, and not self control as in, oh, I'm going to hold back my feelings of love and care about you so you'll feel bad. That's not what I mean, because that type of control is not useful or helpful. That's creating problems. But like excuse me, like a moth to the flame, as they say, some people do run towards toxic people or dangerous situations because it's familiar sometimes, sadly. If you grew up around dysfunctional people, or the majority of your town or community, whoever your group is, you got fake friends or negative friends, but you're one of those social people who needs a social group, so you slum it and hang around with people who you don't even vibe with them, but you need someone to hang around with, someone to go drinking with or try and pass the boredom with. And also you might have grown up around dangerous situations, abusive individuals, dysfunctional individuals, and so obviously you had no role models. I mean, I grew up around terrible, dangerous, dysfunctional people and community, but for some reason I was not like them. When I saw their dysfunction and their abuse, it sickened me, it repulsed me, it disgusted me. So I knew I wasn't like them. And I knew I would never be like them, and I would never let myself be like them. And I didn't want to become the evil I was fighting against. I didn't want to be like, oh, if you can't beat them, join them. I didn't want to be like them. They taught me how not to be, or what I didn't want to be, what I didn't want to be around. So, you know, um, I mean, it's like how they say you can't force a plant to grow. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You shouldn't keep flogging a dead horse. Something's a lost cause and people won't listen. They don't care about themselves or their life. They're going to, just continue on in the same destructive, self sabotaging path. All you can do is pray for those people, genuinely pray for them, send up, well wishes, and ask for their guides and angels and ancestors to walk with them, and hopefully they will listen to the guides and ancestors and God, the messages that are being shown to you, the signs that are being shown to you. But if you're drunk off your ass every night, you're not going to see the signs, are you? You're not going to hear. If God's trying to bring someone good into your life and work through that person, you're not going to hear the message, because you're going to automatically reject the person because of you know your inability to recognize that you are not you're in self-sabotage mode, and you're not going to pull yourself out of it. So someone was sent in to save you, help you get back on track, and you refuse it. And then at the end of the day, whose fault is that? You can't blame the earth angel, that God sent in to protect you and help you and remind you that you deserve better than the life you're allowing yourself to drown in. It's like, if like I've said this story before, like, I mean, like a little example. It's like if you were drowning and I run and get, a boat, and I throw you the life dinghy and I say, quick, grab it and I'll pull you into the boat. And you go, no, I've prayed and God will come and get me. And you're like, no, but I'm here now. I can save you. Quick, get it. And you just, you let yourself drown. And then you go up to heaven and you're standing in front of God and you say, why didn't you save me? I prayed to you like 100 times. And then God says, well, I sent you the woman in the boat. That was how I was going to save you. What did you think? I was going to fly down in a white robe and pick you up out of the water and fly up a rainbow? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when God sends you help, it's not going to look the way you think it will look with angels in fluffy white gowns. It's going to be through other human beings. Maybe it will be through a video you read, sorry, a video you hear on YouTube, or an article you read, or you might overhear a conversation in a cafe or a shop, on the bus, you know, at work, that triggers you to go, oh, let me look up this, or oh, let me, you know, you have to look out for the signs. And, you know, if you're praying for help, and then when the help comes, you reject it, what are you complaining about? It's your fault then. You know what I mean? Like, you have to take accountability for your own decision. You chose not to take the help. You know, and obviously I do feel sorry for people who do have narcissistic personality disorder a little bit. When I say I feel sorry for them, it's more I have compassion for the child they were, who grew up in dysfunction. You know, they became a monster later on in life because they were an innocent child who was abused. But I find it too hard to forgive the monster they are now as an adult. It's really hard when someone is meaning you harm and not giving a crap about you and provoking all the pain that you had from childhood, and then you tell them about, you know, how hard it was for you growing up, and you tell them your pain and they use it against you. But then when they say to you, please don't use this against me, you say, I would never. I will always try and be here for you. I will always try and help you. And you really mean that. When you say those words, I will always be here for you, then they force you to leave by being so abusive and nasty. And then it makes you feel bad, because then it makes you feel like you lied to them when you didn't lie. You did want to be there for them, but not at the expense of your own sanity. You meant, let's work together, let's be a team. I didn't mean you can abuse the hell out of me and reduce me down to nothing. I mean, to be honest, you couldn't reduce me down to nothing. I'm too strong. I'm way too strong, way too intelligent, way too powerful. You know, I mean, I have a psychology degree. I already know why you're doing what you're doing, even when you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying, I know why you're behaving this way. It doesn't hurt any less, though. It still hurts that you want to be abusive, but I understand why you're doing it. But sadly, I understand that the chances of you changing are going to be very small, because narcissistic personality disorder is a mental condition, a personality disorder, that it can't be undone. You know, just like how I have OCD, it can't be undone. Once it was triggered, you know, I remember the day, literally, I remember the day my OCD was triggered, when I was about 7. And before that, I was picking up worms in the garden. I was touching frogs in the pond, and I don't remember worrying about washing my hands. I did go and wash my hands, but it wasn't like I had to wash it 10 million times. You know, I could run and play in the dirt, and I wasn't a kid that wanted to be covered in dirt, but I didn't mind lying on the grass. Like, I might lie on the grass in a field with my coat on the floor. So I put my coat on the ground and put my head in the hood, you know, so I'm not fully touching the grass. But I never really liked running around barefoot. But that was more for safety more than dirtiness. I mean, I didn't like the dirt between my toes. I mean, at the beach, maybe walk with the sand. But even then, I like flip-flops. I don't know. I just remember, because my mum had OCD as well, but it was different. Hers was different. She wasn't tidy. She was hygienic, but her OCD was more about germs, but not tidy. Whereas I am super, super light. I want everything in a certain place. All the shelves are really neat. All the labels of the cans in the cupboard have to be facing a certain way, you know, like, even the way I fold my clothes has to be a certain way. Like, my shoes always have to be neat together in the corner. Like, I couldn't just kick off one shoe in one direction and kick off a shoe in another direction. Like, that would be crazy. I couldn't have like wonky photos frames all around the place. Everything has to be exactly how I left it every single day. And if anyone moves it a millimeter, I know. I'm like, why is that, you know, bottle slightly moved? like if I want to remind myself of something, I literally just put something round the wrong way, and then I'll automatically look at it and go, wait a minute, why is that, shampoo bottle askew or not straight? And it'll be, oh, it's to remind me to buy more. It's nearly empty. So yeah, it's really weird having OCD, but yeah, mine is like very, very like to do with germs, like germaphobe, like, and having things straight. And I always like the saying, a place for everything and everything in its place, so I can't stand like I'll keep my keys and everything in the same place, so that if they're not in that place, I know I must have lost it or someone's stolen it, because it would always be in that bag or always be in that pocket or always be in that place. So to me it's just efficient and useful, but then if I can't do things in the way the OCD wants it done, then it can play on your mind so much that it becomes like ridiculous, and then you just have to do it to get rid of the thought. It's like a repetitive intrusive thought kind of thing. Like for instance, if I went in the room, like went in the kitchen, ate some food, made a drink, and then I come to the light, switch off the light, shut the door, and it's dark in the hallway, and then I'll be like, are the lights like, well, the OCD is almost like a separate thing, and it will go, is the lights off? And I'm like, of course the lights are off, we're in the dark. Are you sure the lights are off? Because I have a feeling maybe the light might turn on by itself. Why don't you go turn it on, then turn it off again? Like, what if there's something weird with the electrics and it turns the light back on by itself? Double check that it's so stupid. And then if you ignore that silly nagging thought, and then it will be like, remember the kitchen light, you didn't check it, you only pressed it once, and then but if you just went back and did it and flicked it on and off again, then it will go away, the thought. But sometimes you might have to flick it on and off 3 times. Like, it's so stupid. But I'm lucky though, because some people sadly have got it much worse than me. They can't even leave the house, like I mean, when that terrible thing happened, the pandemic, everyone was like being freaked out, and buying hand sanitizer when they wouldn't have before. There are a lot of dirty people in England who don't wash their hands after using the toilet. Oh my God, I hate those people, dirty beggars. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, like, why are people like hoarding the hand sanitizer? Because I need that. Like, I was really upset that people were like hoarding it, and shopkeepers were selling it for like 10 times the usual amount, because of what was happening. And then, but then after, suddenly no one cared. As soon as like the government was like, oh, we're not putting you on lockdown, everything's fine, take off your mask, whatever. Even though we still had a huge amount of people catching it and spreading it, it was like people were too lazy to care. They were like, oh well, I can't be bothered to wash my hands. And people were just dirty. Like, how can you have such poor hygiene? Ugh. I couldn't imagine like being so filthy like that, especially when it's not like you're poor and in a third world country where you don't have access to these things. I know people like who've lived in third world countries, who grew up in third world countries, and they were cleaner than the people here who had access to everything and grew up with everything. You know what I mean? So you had people who had next to nothing, making sure they were as clean as possible, and yet the people here who grew up in a nice house, had loads of family, had loads of money, didn't need to want for anything, and they were too lazy to just be normal. It's weird. And that's another weird thing I remember I didn't mention before, is that narcissists can be created from being spoiled, like overly spoiled. Like, say the kids in a royal family, they're not being shown the true reality, right? So being everyone jumping when they say jump, or like kids in the mafia family, because people are frightened of their family, members who are in the mafia, then the children will know that, oh, I just have to say my dad is, Al Capone or whoever, and everyone's going to go, oh, anything you want, and they can get away with stuff. So that can create a narcissist. Like Donald Trump's a narcissist, or who else, just certain people. You can, like Jennifer Lopez, you can tell just I think Jennifer Lopez would have got it from being poor though, but Trump would have got it from being overly rich. So it's like having access to anything and getting away with anything and not having any rules applying to you that apply to everyone else. And you commit a crime, but because you're rich you can get away with it. Someone else commits a crime and they've gone to jail for 20 years for the same crime, you know. And so knowing you have that immunity, you know, that gives certain people that narcissistic big head. But it's more than that. It is a personality disorder that can't be changed, but it's been created in their childhood because they didn't have access to normal reality. Like, even if their parents are telling them, oh, you're so wonderful, oh, you're so great, you're better than all these other people in the world, that, you know, obviously not everyone will become a narcissist, because like how I had a terrible childhood, my mind didn't split, even though the abuse and the violence was really bad. I was so strong, you know, thank God I was given so much strength to get through my life that I didn't, you know, they couldn't break my spirit. The more they were cruel to me, the tougher I got, the more, you know, it kind of, it's like, on one hand you don't want to make a child feel they have to be cold and detached, but the thing is, I wasn't cold and detached. That's the thing. I would feel cold and detached towards them because I knew there was no point investing in them. They were cruel, nasty narcs. But on the other hand, I was just a loving, caring, welcoming child. So it was like a weird, what do you call it, a weird conflict in my mind, a war of, you know, wanting to fight my natural feeling of running and hugging someone who I know I'm related to, and then remembering, nope, nope, wait, you know, making a conscious decision that, nope, they're dangerous. Don't go near them, keep away, don't even talk to them, because you could, even when you're sitting there doing nothing, they could just decide to pick a fight with you or lie and say you did something you didn't, and then hit you and, you know, want to, you know, hurt you, because that's what their sick personality disorders compelling them to do. You know, just like how the OCD compels me to wash my hands more than once, or, you know, use the hand sanitizer even after I've washed my hands, or you know, like I don't know, what was the other thing? Oh, turning the lights on and off when they've clearly been turned off, or checking the gas is off more than once, or checking the fridge is shut more than once, or checking the front door is shut more than once. You know, it's like, it compels you, you know, and you can't really control it. And if you ignore the feeling, it will become stronger and more you know, more. Hold on. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. Yeah, like it would become more overwhelming. And so, you know, with narcs, it's very hard, because you don't want to believe anyone you care about means you harm. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you look at your parents, you know, it's natural to just want to run and hug your parents and want them to love you and take care of you. And when you can't trust your own parents, that is a frightening, frightening feeling, to be in a world where I can't even trust my own family. How am I going to trust anyone else out here in the world? If, you know, and then when you come across nice people out in the world, you will be suspicious of them, because you'll think they're trying to con you, because there was a time when there were people who acted super nice to me, you know, romantic partners or whatever, but then as soon as they thought they had me, you know, married me, or we were in a closer relationship, got engaged or whatever, suddenly they switched, like the mask fell off and they didn't need to pretend anymore to be nice, and it was horrible. Or they would try and make you jealous, triangulate, which is like, you know, make you feel inferior to other people, or, you know, even if they're not cheating, but just give you the feeling that, well, I could cheat anytime I want and I have so many options, and they know it's hurting you. They want to see the pain in your face, you know. It's sad. I would never do that to anyone. I could never hurt anyone purposely. Let alone if I loved you and cared about you, no way would I purposely hurt you. The only time I would lash out at you, take revenge on you, say something abusive to you, is if you abused me first. If you verbally abused me, I will definitely verbally abuse you back, because that's me standing up for myself. If you hit me, I'll definitely hit you back. That's for damn sure. You're not going to get away with hitting me. And, you know, and it's like, it's very hard because, I mean, it's like you just want a normal life. When you've come from a dysfunctional, violent childhood, dysfunctional family, you just want to escape them and run into the arms of a normal person. And when that doesn't happen, when you keep coming across narcs in different areas of your life, it's so depressing. It's so soul crushing. You can't understand how there are so many narcissists out here, so many messed up people. Like imagine if we could you know, be in a world where you could genuinely trust people. Like imagine how much we could achieve when people were just normal and genuinely caring about each other. But this world will never be that. And it is so depressing to know it will never be normal. Things will never be great. Things will always be shit. And it is really upsetting. It makes you not want to be here. Like, I'm going to be honest. Most days, I don't want to be here. I just literally wake up and think, oh no, I'm still here, you know? And I don't want to trigger anyone by saying that, you know, but I genuinely would not care. Like if my heart stopped right now, because I've been through so much pain, so much misery, and even though I do so much for other people, I have loads of people in my life who love and care about me, but the pain from the past still bothers me. It lingers like thorns in my heart, like a million knives in your back. It is so painful knowing all the horrible things that had been done to me. There was no justice. There was no, you know, I mean, I got revenge on them, but it still didn't take away the pain, you know. I mean, they needed to be punished, though. I mean, come on now. You're not going to, like, rip my eye out and I don't rip your eye out, an eye for an eye. And I know they say an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Oh, well, you shouldn't have took my eye then, should you? But it's like, I mean, I just, oh, the pain I feel, the psychological pain and the memories, being hard and, being violently beaten up and, you don't forget those things. And it makes, and it's weird because I sometimes worry and think, oh no, am I going to become really hard and cold and detached beyond a certain point where I can never be my true self again? Because I'm such a kind, loving person, but sometimes I hate the world and everything in it so much that I worry that what if I just snap one day? I don't want to snap. I don't want this pressure and this pain to snap the good person I am. I hope I always am this kind, loving earth angel, but I don't take any shit from anyone, just to make that clear. Like, I'll smile and be kind to you, but I don't trust you or anyone, not after everything I've been through. I can still be nice to you and we can have a great time and go out and have fun and enjoy each other's company, but I'm watching you, that's for damn sure. I'm watching everything you do and I'm taking notes and observing, and because too many people can trick you with a kind word here and there, you know. I mean, ugh. Anyway, but yeah, let me check my little notes. Hold on. Yeah, so like I was saying, people need to recognize that if whatever experiences you've been through in your past, in your adult life, your teenage years, whatever, you need to look at what is causing you to behave in a risk-taking way. Why do you keep seeking out bad people and bad situations? Is it boredom? Is it, because you were ignored as a child? Is it attention seeking? Because with some people, with their attention seeking, even if it's negative attention that they get, any attention is better than no attention for some people, and they will provoke and provoke and provoke. And when a crazy person lashes out at them and hurts them, they'll be genuinely shocked, like, hey, I didn't even mean it the way you took it, or and it's like, but because we live in a world of dangerous people, why did you take the risk of provoking anyone? You know what I mean? Especially if you're not tough enough to defend yourself. If you're going to let people kick the crap out of you and not defend yourself, why are you doing that? Why even take the risk to put yourself in danger like that? unless you're super tough and can take on anyone and everything, or you got weapons, I mean, I don't know why you would ever take the risk. And that's why you have to look at what is wrong in you. What, like, the thing that is wrong could be a thing from your childhood that is causing you to do this wrong behavior, is what I mean. Because like me, for instance, because my dad abandoned me and always made me feel like crap and made it clear to my face that he didn't care about me, I didn't know that would affect me in my relationships with men when I grew up. Like, I'm a straight female and I want straight men. So I never thought that I would go for someone older than me, much, much older, like 20 years older than me when I was really young. Like, even when I was like 18 or 19, I was being attracted to men who were 20 years older than me, who could have been my dad's age. And then I thought at the time it wasn't a big deal, but now I'm older, I look back and think, what was I thinking? Because I'm gravitating towards them because I didn't have that father figure. Not that I want to sleep with my dad, that's disgusting. But what I mean is, I wanted someone to look after me, I suppose, make me feel safe, even though technically I didn't need anyone to look after me. I could look after myself physically, emotionally, mentally. I had enough money, and I was doing my studying, working and studying. I didn't actually need anyone. I wasn't in dire straits needing money or needing a place to live. So I don't know why it affected me so much, but I always felt so drawn to older men. Now that I'm older, I don't want someone who's 20 years older than me because they would be an old man. you know but back then it was like, sadly, the men who are in their, let me think, so if I'm 20 and they're 40, you know it's like they're looking at you like, oh wow, I got this really young beautiful girl who wants me. But then they're a bit, what's the word, insecure about the fact that you're so young and beautiful, you'll never stay with them, whereas you're just like, well, I just want to be loved and protected. So it's a mismatch, really. And even though people, some older men will welcome young, beautiful girls hanging off them, but then you got to know that she's got to have issues, some kind of issues, or she's just a gold digger and she's using you, and you're obviously showering them with gifts or something, and so you're aware they're using you, but you want the attention because you're old and insecure, or you're old and immature and you don't know how to handle a real woman your own age who would require you to level up and be mature. You want to be Peter Pan and still be and pretend that you're young when you're 80, even, or not 80. I'm thinking of Hugh Hefner for some reason. Like, he was acting like he was 20 when he was like 80. That's why I said 80. Oh my god. Like, I remember all those women who were in the Playboy Mansion always talked about how horrible it was, so I could imagine it was horrible having to touch that wrinkled old man. And they weren't even happy there. Like, majority of them ended up leaving. I think one took her own life. Like, how sad is that? That the situation wasn't even, I mean, he was just a narc using them as sex slaves, and they were just broken women who sadly were abused as kids or whatever, and then they didn't think they were worthy, so they let this old man use them, and they thought they were going to get money, but they weren't in the will. I'm pretty sure only one girl was in the will who he married. Like, she was 24 when he was 79, and at first she I think she got engaged to him, and then she broke it off because she probably thought, ew, I don't want to touch this old man or be his wife. But probably her toxic friends, gold digger friends, were like, no, just, he'll die soon, just be his wife and make sure you're in the will, you know but I think he had adult kids that were much older than her who could have been her mum. And then they would obviously control the money when, because they could contest the will, you know. And she seemed like a ditzy airhead idiot who didn't have any brains. So I don't know. I can't remember her name, but I think it was Crystal something. But yeah, we all have our issues. So you see, now I'm older. I don't look to such old men. I look to someone more my own age, or maybe 10 years older. But then it's more about your personality, your maturity, the way you treat me. Before it was like I was assuming someone older, so much older, would have their own house, their own car, have their life perfectly together. But to my shock and surprise, they didn't. There were people who were 20 years older than me who had less than I had, yet they'd been on the planet 20 years longer than me. I mean, how do you not have somewhere to live by that time? How do you? I mean, I was a teenager and I had more initiative than them. I had found a job. I was studying. I had money in savings from my earnings. Like, how do you not have anything? Like, I just, and these were people who had the chance to get things. It wasn't like they didn't have the potential or the opportunity. There was space and opportunity to go and succeed, and they were just lazy, stupid idiots who sat on their ass, didn't blame they blame the world for their laziness. I mean, how does that work? You're lazy, but it's my fault? How does that work? I don't know, but anyway, the last little bit of advice I'll give is always look to yourself for guidance. Think of, you have to think for yourself. Don't, you can ask people things, ask for advice, but always make it your decision. The final decision has to be you, from you, by you, for you. You need to be able to analyze yourself, to self-improve yourself. You have to be willing to fight to save yourself and have self-preservation and self-control and self-respect. You can't want to get better just for other people, just to slightly get better to impress a new girl or boy that you like, and then as soon as they leave you go back to your old ways. You need to be able to stand for yourself and want to protect yourself. At the end of the day, all you have is you. You have to love yourself, rely on yourself, protect yourself. And that means using protection when you sleep with strangers. You can't just be sleeping with every skank down the road, because you'll end up with terrible STDs, unless you don't care about that. Apparently, like, there's tons of people out here who don't care about that until they get something life-threatening or painful, and then suddenly they're blaming the other person. Well, you should have made sure you protected yourself. Why are you relying on a stranger to take the responsibility of protecting you? They could trick you. Anyone can say words. It's up to you to take action. So, yeah, just make sure you validate yourself. Don't look to other people to validate you or even to make you happy. You have to try and be happy by yourself. You have to take time to, like, if you break up with someone, or, you've left a, toxic family or whatever, you need time to, you know, recharge and process what you've been through. When people are very what's the word, like, they can't be alone. There's some people who, they divorce one guy and the next month they're married to another one, and they barely know this guy. Like, who does that? I noticed Geminis do that a lot. Yeah, like my grandmother did that a lot. Like, and they always have kids. Every single person, they jump onto a next man, a next man, a next man, and try and trap him with a kid. And then the guy just wanted some fun, and then they abandon them. And so it's really important to not self-trash, not self-destruct, not self-sabotage. See yourself as someone who's worth saving, who is important. Instead of internalizing all the horrible things people say to you, or have done to you, you need to find that power and strength inside you that we all have. I think a lot of people let the world, you know, convince them that they're not worthy. And then sometimes there have been people who've mistreated me, and I've said the words, "You're not worthy," just because they made me feel for a moment unworthy, or they tried to convince me to feel that way. So I wanted to give them a taste of their own medicine and say, well, how do you like it when someone says something horrible to you for no reason? Do you like it? No. Well, stop doing it then. But no, everyone is worthy. Every good soul is worthy. of being saved, and save yourself. I mean, ask for strength, pray for guidance. You know, if God can't, take us off our life plan that we've chosen, at least he can give us the strength to get through it. But you must try yourself. You can't just pray and then sit on your ass and wait. You do have to be proactive as well. Your prayers can be answered too, but at the same time, I can't stand people who are like, oh, God will provide, without them actually helping themselves as well. And I'm not being blasphemous or disrespectful to God, not at all. But because there's many times he helped me, and I know he helped me because someone came in to rescue me at the last minute, and it was a situation where you could just tell it was like a miracle type thing, or it was like you were saved from something worse. Like if someone rejects you, sometimes that's God's protection, because if you had, like sometimes, we do have free will, so we can override, if God tried to protect you and block you from getting an opportunity, or block you from dating someone, or, keeping in touch with someone, and then you override that clear message that you need to stay away from this person. You passed your test. The test was to be exposed to someone who would disrespect you, but you feel sympathy for their situation. But then the test was pick self-respect. Do not let yourself be disrespected. And then you get the message, you get the overwhelming psychic messages, and then because you feel guilty abandoning someone, then you go back towards them, and then the person mistreats you again, and then you feel foolish because you're like, damn it, I knew I shouldn't have gone back to talk to this person, or I knew this person needed to, you know go through learning the lesson that when you mistreat people, you will learn the hard way what it feels like not to have them anymore. And that's facts. That's, you can't mistreat good people and expect to have a good life. I mean, who do you think you are, going around causing scars and collecting your jar of hearts? But you know what I mean, ripping out people's heart and soul, putting it in a smelly old jar. you know, I just don't get it. Like, it's like, who do you think you are? How dare you? How dare anyone go around abusing people? You don't know what people have been through before they met you. Someone could take their own life because of the stress you put them under, the abuse you gave them, even if it was just verbal abuse. And then the thing that sickens me is that people will abuse you after all the nice things you've done for them, and then you'll leave them and abandon them and be like, deuces, F off, jog on. And then they'll go and tell everyone, oh, she was a good one, she was a real one, I really wish I'd been nicer to her. And it's like, are you serious? You will wait till you've been abandoned by me to then suddenly sing my praises? That is one thing that drives me up the wall. Why don't you just keep my name out of your mouth from now on? Don't even mention me again. Pretend you never met me, because that is the biggest disservice to me, in my opinion, that you couldn't tell me that I was a good person. You refused to even use my name most of the time, giving me stupid, dumb nicknames that got on my nerves. You wouldn't give me the respect of talking to me like a normal human being, appreciating my kindness. You wouldn't make it clear that you enjoyed my company, or we got on. You wouldn't have a normal friendship with me, but yet you will tell others, sorry, that she was amazing, she was so kind, she was a great one, she's the kind of person you want to marry because she's so caring. I mean, what kind of stupidity is that? That's stupid. And then years from now, you're going to feel guilty about it, and wish that you treated me better. Why didn't you just treat me better? Why didn't you treat Ashley better? Remember her, the one who you said you admitted you spoke to like crap, and she wouldn't even leave you, and then you threw her away because you said, oh, I threw her away when I went to military school because I thought I can't trust her not to cheat on me, even though the person's been loyal and hasn't done nothing to you. and tolerated all your abuse, showed you love, but then you still threw them away. So what? So who's the problem here? Who's the common denominator here? Sounds like you. Sounds like you're the problem. And not saying other people around you haven't been horrible, nasty, toxic people, but you probably ran straight towards them because you're toxic. So like attracts like. Birds of a feather flock together. You saw they were toxic. You recognized in them the toxicity, but it was familiar because it's in you, or you grew up around it. And then you stayed around those toxic people, and then you provoked them, knowing they were a psychopath, knowing they were crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you are the problem. And I hate to be harsh, but let's be real. I'm not a type of person to sugarcoat anything. You know, if you are provoking psychopaths and, you know, putting yourself in danger, why are you shocked when something bad happened to you? And I'm not saying I'm not saying I wanted anything bad to happen to you. I'm just saying that if I go up to Mike Tyson on the street and slap him in the face and call him, you know, names, even if I'm a woman, I would expect him to react badly, grab me by the throat, punch me, slap me, push me. I wouldn't expect Mike Tyson not to react badly to me because he's a lunatic. So if I know he's got a bad, you know, reputation for being a lunatic against men, women, and kids, why am I going to go anywhere near these toxic people? But that's the weird thing. Narcs will go up to toxic people, create a bond, a trauma bond with toxic people, then try to ignore and discard the toxic person, and then wonder how this toxic person is stalking them and trying to get revenge on them. Like, you should have been clever enough to not piss off the psychopath, basically. You know, even not saying you can't accidentally get involved with a nutcase because they can mimic normal people sometimes, but then why weren't you smart enough to get away silently? You know what I mean? Like, you don't play in their face and let them know that you know, you don't let them know your plans. Like even now, like, I bet you still keep them on your social media. I bet they still know how to get messages to you through friends or family or social media. All these things you could have deleted and got brand new ones. All these, you know, the fact that you would entertain any toxic skank from your past or new toxic skank and then play the same games, the same dangerous games that got you hurt before, shows you are part of the problem. Because you would encourage, in a new state, in a new town, with new people, you would recreate the terrible, dangerous situation that nearly took your life, or that smashed you up and traumatized you. You would run straight back into it and recreate it, or you'd even go backwards and talk to the scum that hurt you. Because there's something wrong. You know, narcissistic personality disorder makes them approach avoid, you know? So they will approach someone and then avoid them. Approach them with love bombing and telling them, oh, I love you, baby, you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And I know all that was crap. I'm not stupid, but I let these people say this crap because I'm just like, just let them talk. Just let them talk. They think they're manipulating you right now, but I'm testing you. When you think you're testing me, I'm playing chess, not checkers. So I'm a psychologist. I'm watching you, I'm analyzing you, I'm taking notes on everything you said. Even the time when you were telling me nasty things and stuff, I was thinking, look at how this person is telling me these crazy, nasty things. I know exactly why they're doing it. I know exactly what reaction they want from me, but I'm not going to give it. You know, and it's really sad. Like, all I wanted to do was go out into the world and help people. And I will continue to go out into the world and help people. I won't let any narcissist or any cruel person change my spirit, my kind earth angel spirit. I will just change who I allow to be near me. That's all. You know, you didn't defeat me, you didn't hurt, you didn't hurt me, you disappointed me. Definitely disappointed me, because I hoped you would have been clever enough to keep keep in mind that you're the one that's going to suffer by all these abusive things you do. You're the one that's going to end up alone with no one. I'm good. I could have nobody. I could get like, when you get shipwrecked and you end up on a desert island like Castaway, the film with Tom Hanks. I could happily live alone with Wilson the football on the desert island. I'm good. Because as an empath, I need time away from this world. I hate being around too many people. Unless your energy is beautiful and loving and kind, I don't really like being around people, because most people's energy is low vibrational, yucky. It feels like a muddy wet blanket all over me if they're not kind, beautiful souls. Like when you come around people who are nice and kind and loving, oh, it's such a beautiful feeling when you're an empath, to feel pure innocent joy and no bad intentions. It is such a nice feeling, but it's rare to really come across genuine people. But like I said, at the end of the day, all you have is yourself. The only person you can really trust is yourself. And that is why you should look after yourself. Why are you spending so much time investing resources, your money, your time, whatever, into toxic people and neglecting yourself? It doesn't make any sense, because at the end of the day, when all these toxic people have used you up, filled you with STDs, fed your addiction, and then thrown you back to the wolves, it's just going to be you alone. So why wouldn't you make sure that the relationship you have with yourself is a good one, a positive one, so that you can combat anything negative that comes in the future? It's so important for people to want to self improve and self protect. It is just, I don't understand why people don't get it. To me, it's so obvious. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. And if anyone likes any of my videos, look through all my other videos on the channel. You might hear something that's helpful, that makes you smile or that makes you think. And you can like, share, subscribe if you want. And in my community page bit, I just put up like some cool quotes and stuff that are helpful and inspiring and interesting. So you can look in there if you like. And yeah, that's all for now. So God bless everyone. And I wish you peace, love and protection. And I really, really do hope that people who are going through addictions of any kind, I really hope you choose to save yourself instead of choosing to feed your addiction, because you are worthy, you are worth saving. And I just pray that, you will get through it and you will see the light and you will see the reason why it is so important for you to get sober and get to a point where you can have a normal life. Even if you went and helped others by becoming a sober coach after and letting other people know how hard it was for you, but you got through it and you became sober, and you can be an inspiration and a mentor to other people who, felt like they couldn't make it through, and I really, really wish everyone the best. And yeah, I just pray for this world and just pray that we can all be given the strength to get through this life and complete our mission of why we came here in the first place, and learn our lessons, that we've chosen before we come here. I mean, there's so many difficult things that happen to all of us that, all of us have got suffering and pain. We've all got our painful stories and grief and things, and that's why it's important to try and help each other, because we're not the only ones suffering. If we could all just try and show kindness and compassion to each other, imagine how much positivity could just help save lives. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, good night, everyone. Good day, wherever you are. Good morning. I don't know where everyone is. Okay, that's all. Bye for now.